Getting over it. Let's do an hour of this. We will be trying to get over it. I remember, but years ago, watching many, many people play this. And you know what? It re-sparked a life in silly indie stuff. A lot of games have been chasing this trend. When did this game come out, even? Hang on. Getting over it. Yeah, it came out in 2017. Okay. This is a game that made me too frustrated to beat it initially. But I now understand that all journeys require active effort and
There's
learning.
no feeling more intense than starting over. If you deleted your homework the day before it was due, as I have, or if you left your wallet at home and you have to go back after spending an hour in the commute. If you won some money at the casino and then put all your winnings on red but it came up black. If you got your best shirt dry cleaned before a wedding and then immediately dropped food on it. If you won an argument with a friend and then later discovered that they just returned to their original view. Starting over is harder than starting up. If you're not ready for that, like if you've already had a bad day, then what you're about to go through might be too much. Feel free to go away and come back. I'll be here.
Thanks, Mr. Foddy. We've had a pretty chill day, so we're figuring out.
Thanks for coming with me on this trip. I'll understand if you have to take a break at any point. Just find a safe place to stop and quit the game. And don't worry, I'll save your progress, always. Even your mistakes.
Especially your mistakes. Don't sweat it. I will certainly be making plenty of mistakes. And also relearning the old tech. The olden ways. What's the close motions are the rough ones. You should learn how to play Street Fighter 6. I'm not learning how to play a fighting game. I know that it's the same thing that I just described, but I do not want to spend the hours upon hours for incremental gain in that sense, especially when somewhere in there it's getting your dick flattened by people who are just 10 times better than you. It's like you're asking me to get back into MOBAs. I don't want to do the kind of grind that it would take to get better.
This game is a homage to a free game that came out in 2002, titled Sexy Hiking. The author of that game was Jazuo, a mysterious Czech designer who was known at the time as the father of B games. And B games are rough assemblages of found objects. Designers slap them together very quickly and freely, and they're often too rough and unfriendly to gain much of a following. They're built more for the joy of building them than as polished products.
You're saying I should play Daikatana. Why Daikatana? Is that also a game where I'm gonna have to learn? Because it's really, parentheses, good. Come on, man. What do you mean by good? Sell me on this game. The supposed good game. Hang on, I gotta clean out my mouse. It's full of cat hair. We will slowly get over this mountain, though. One of the worst rate art from John Romero. It's how he made you his bitch. What? What do you mean by that, Daft? How do I get up this one? Oh, not that way.
You just lost a lot of progress. That's a deep frustration, a real punch in the gut.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Mr. Foddy. It's gonna take us a bit, but we will get there. Especially when I need to learn how to actually make these. Who is PMing me? Oh, it's the thank you, Daft. John Romero's about to make you his bitch. That's for Daikatana. It says suck it down on the bottom. What? When did that game come out?
You can hit the escape key if you need to change the mouse sensitivity.
Mm. 2000? Yeah, that's pretty peak 2000s culture. I know you said 200, but come on, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, that you got it. 2000 was an era. It sure was. Lots of, you were 10. I was 3. So I really got a lot from the year 2000. It was really formative for me. Getting yelled at in MMOs and scarring me for life. Yeah, and now you want me to play more MMOs? For shame, brother. For shame. I know that I know how to do that. Yeah, I'd be nice, though. I don't know. I've seen how you treat Cole. Just generally. That's different. Do elaborate how that's different for me. What's so different about that? He's dumb. What if the people that yelled at you in the 2000s because you were 10 thought you were dumb? Were you 10? Yes. But they were probably like, oh, this guy doesn't know how to cycle his DPS. They were wrong. I'm smart. Yes. Yes, yes, I see. I see the thing that does it for you. Wait, is this a... Is this a tilt? Nope. I'm gonna spend an hour here learning how the hell to make this game work with me. Oh, you know what? What? What do I know? What bad video game are you gonna suggest for me to play next? Play 2005 MMO Guild Wars. I actually played Guild Wars 2. I did not play much Guild Wars. You know, 2. I only played 2. I didn't play 1. I don't remember how to get up above this. That's not OG Guild Wars. What's the difference? What made OG Guild Wars so different? I feel like an IGN writer right now. Simply cannot achieve basic gaming goals. They are totally different games. I mean, I kind of figure sequels tend to be different, especially with MMOs. What did they change, though? I know one of the draws for Guild Wars 2 was the, like, local area. Guild Wars 2... Guild Wars has thousands of abilities. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? That's an MMO. They need to balance that shit, too. It was wild. What was the balancing like back then? Every time I hear stories of old MMOs, I'm like, damn. You can be secondary classes. Oh, it's stuff like that. Maybe I should play Grim Dawn. Hundreds and hundreds of games that demand our attention. It's a problem with art being ever existing. That's a good, fun game. Keep up, Mitch. You're saying so? What you're saying is I have to play Guild Wars instead. Yes. I'm not playing Guild Wars. I'm not playing Guild Wars on stream. How do you get this one? Why not?
No.
Oh, there it goes.
Sorry about that.
Why will I not play Guild Wars? It's a game that came out when I was 3. It's an MMO. I know a lot of games came out when I was 3, but being an MMO that is almost as old as I am is a pretty good way for me to not want to play it. How do I... How the hell do I get up here? What's the tech here? Am I gonna have to study for this game too? Just like RE1? Because I am gonna do RE1 speedruns at some point. Omicron. I'm not doing Omicron. The only way you could get me to do Omicron is I'm trying to think of something that a reasonable individual could do to get me to play Omicron. I think you could get me to play Omicron for $10,000. I think that's the cheapest that you could convince me. I thought about 5,000 and I was like, no, that actually doesn't get me the goals that I want. I'll get on that. Yeah, just get me 10K. God damn it. Give me the casual 10K. To play one of the worst games of all time. Possibly the worst game of all time. It's definitely David Cage's what would the opposite of... What's the opposite of a magnum opus? But you steal a man's body and have sex with his wife. And then you can immediately be like, alright, honey, I'm transferring bodies. Hope you enjoyed having your cyberpunk cop husband. He's dead now. I took over. I still have dreams. I should say nightmares about the FPS levels of that game. The FPS levels of... Actually, all of it was bad. You're reminding me just how bad that game was. There was not a single redeeming element. There was technically writing. It got David Bowie to stop doing video games. What a piece of shit. David Bowie was in it. Yeah. He was. That was the one good thing. And even then, that was soured because David Cage ruined the experience for him, and he never made video game music again. So fuck you, David Cage.
In a certain
Oh,
way,
fuck.
Sexy Hiking is the perfect embodiment of a B game. It's built almost entirely out of found and recycled parts, and it's one of the most unusual and unfriendly games of its time. In it, your task is simply to drag yourself up a mountain with a hammer. And that act of climbing, in the digital world or in real life, has certain essential properties that give the game its flavor. No amount of forward progress is guaranteed. Some cliffs are too sheer or too slippery, and the player is constantly, unremittingly in danger of falling and losing everything.
Thanks, Mr. Ben. Oh, catching it. The coffee? FK in the coffee. Now that's a bad game that I should play. Deadly Premonition. Maybe at some point. That game has some real
Anyway,
insanity.
when you start sexy hiking, you're standing next to this dead tree that blocks the way to the entire rest of the game. It might take you an hour to get over that tree, and a lot of people never got past it. You prod and you poke at it, exploring the limits of your reach and your strength, trying to find a way up and over. And there's a sense of truth in that lack of compromise. Most obstacles in video game worlds are fake. You can be completely confident in your ability to get through them once you have the correct method or the correct equipment or just by spending enough time. In that sense, every pixelated obstacle in sexy hiking is real.
Wait. Oh no. What suggestion do you have for me, Daft? You got it. Okay.
The obstacles in sexy hiking are unyielding, and that makes the game uniquely frustrating. But I'm not sure Jazuo intended to make a frustrating game. The frustration is just essential to the act of climbing, and it's authentic to the process of building a game about climbing. A funny thing happened to me as I was building this mountain. I'd have an idea for a new obstacle, and I'd build it, test it, and it would usually turn out to be unreasonably hard. But I couldn't bring myself to make it easier. It already felt like my inability to get past the new obstacle was my fault as a player rather than as a builder. Imaginary mountains build themselves from our efforts to climb them, and it's our repeated attempts to reach the summit that turns those mountains into something real. When you're building a video game world, you're building with ideas, and that can be like working with quickset cement. You mold your ideas into a certain shape that can be played with, and in the process of playing with them, they begin to harden and set until they're immutable, like rock. And at that point, you can't change the world, not without breaking it into pieces and starting fresh with new ideas.
Thank you, Ben. I'm not playing Final Fantasy XIV. I've already gotten the fun that I think I can get out of that game. And especially now that I have less people to socialize and enjoy that game with. And yes, don't get me wrong, I love you, Daft. But Final Fantasy is not the world I want to spend my time in. God damn it. Thank you for the bad suggestions, though. Final Fantasy is probably the best game that you've suggested. Sorry, Sean Connery's ghost is taking over my soul. I think that game is the best one that you've suggested, just on like an objective level. Fuck. But it's not for me. There are so many games that I know are just not for me. And JRPGs are one of them. Fuck. JRPGs, anything with like 50 hours of content that I know I'm gonna hate. 50 plus hours of content I know I'm gonna hate. Probably more. Let's be real. Fuck. Bennett. Mr. Foddy himself. This is probably one of those games that's regarded as like bad in its own ways. But I appreciate that it makes me feel like I'm achieving something. That's what I need in my games. And I know JRPGs do also do that. Fuck. JRPGs do make you feel a sense of accomplishment, a progression. Fuck. But it's just so long form that I'm like, I'm playing video games to get my dopamine fix. I'm not achieving the same kind of stuff in my day to day, which is why people like power fantasy so much. I know that's why I like power fantasy so much. It's just about creating things. That's the thing that really tickles my brain. Making something from nothing. Creating something new from what you've already been given. I think that's what RuneScape got its mitts in me for. There we go. Hatsune Miku Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite's a game all about overcoming. That game is power fantasy. You get to play as Hatsune Miku. Have you ever considered that, Daft? Have you ever considered playing Fortnite with me?
For
How
years
much of
now,
a
people have been predicting that games would soon be made out of prefabricated objects, bought in a store and assembled into a world. And for the most part, that hasn't happened, because the objects in the stores are trash. I don't mean they look bad or that they're badly made, although a lot of them are. I mean they're trash in the way that food becomes trash as soon as you put it in the sink. Things are made to be consumed and used in a certain context, and once the moment is gone, they transform into garbage. In the context of technology, those moments pass by in seconds.
I hate Fortnite. Understandably.
No.
I also hate Fortnite. That's why I'm playing Bennett Foddy in 2025. Benjamin Foddy himself. Maybe I need to crank down on the sensitivity a little bit.